guys, what's up, Mustangs? Blue Guy out from back to Forza Horizon 3 with a bit of an investigation. Now, sorry that I was gone for a while. The basement is being redone. A lot of work to get that ready in time before school ends. So that takes up most of my free time. And then there's finals, and this is a big mess. Anyway, I managed to get this out in time, and this is supposed to be a stunt course build. Had the car built and everything, had the video on my computer, but the rivals mode is down, so I can't race it, which is a little bit unfortunate. So anyway, what we are doing today? What we are doing today is best value. What can you get for 20,000 credits? Now, if you're going off the, what's it called? The auto show, then this is the only vehicle you can buy for 20,000 credits. A Land Rover Series 3. It's not very fast. It's rather pathetic in all honesty. It's the lowest PI number you can get, exactly 100. It is the slowest thing in this game besides the Isetta. At least I think so. And, yeah, it's not exactly spectacular. So I was thinking, if I use the auction house, what vehicles could I get for 20,000 credits? And, well, I set out, bought a few vehicles, and this is what I got. And the first vehicle that I bought was a Fiesta ST for 20,000 credits. It is the least powerful car here. It's an S1 class. It has 433 horsepower. It is four-wheel drive, so we don't have any wheel spin, which is nice. And it is the chromest vehicle. Is that how you say it? It is, I don't know. It is ridiculously chromed out. So you're not going to be sneaky in this vehicle. I believe this is a maxed out Fiesta with the stock engine. I don't think the stock engine can get much horsepower. Haven't actually tried it. But actually pretty nice to drive. For S1 class, not the most powerful or the fastest. As you can see there, it has a tad bit of understeer. But for 20,000 credits going from the Series 3 to this, that is not too shabby. I would say, and it's a nice little lively vehicle. And if you want to, you can make it slide out. It's not too terrible, almost like a Gymkhana car, where you can drive it sensibly, or you can slide all over the place. Very nice vehicle to drive, very nice and controllable. And you have 20,000 credits, this is off to a pretty good start. Now, my next vehicle is the second least powerful vehicle, 555 horsepower. There will be a theme. The first three vehicles I have are also the three least powerful. So, this one was, how much money did it cost? Another 20,000 credits. And, it's interesting what the person did to the suspension, because the front is very high, and the bottom is very low. And it's very fast and controllable for how little it is. It's a lot faster than the Fiesta. It's a lot more controllable. And I did not mean to do that backflip when I was driving and recording this, but that was I was pretty pleased with that. Just kind of continued on my merry way. It's not that spectacular. It's another S1 class vehicle. Most of them were S2. We didn't have anything lower than S1. So, pretty good showing from the Volvo. And this vehicle, although pretty cheap to begin with, actually is not too terrible when you, for 20,000 credits. I would say it's better than it's a little more lively than the Fiesta, a little more lively than it. You can get it sliding a little bit easier. You have to concentrate that little bit more when driving it. But still a pretty good vehicle to drive, and, well, You can't go wrong with a good old classic Volvo. Thank you, Lotus. Oh no, you're an Alpine. Why did I think that was Lotus? Yeah, run off, will you? And no, the last vehicle I bought when I was looking through these lists, when I was looking through these vehicles, was another 20,000 credits from the auction house for a Mercedes AMG GTS. Now, I love the AMG GTS, it's a great car to drive. Cost 140,000 credits from standard, and I got it for 20. So, I would say that's a very, very good deal when it comes to price you're paying, as I met my older generation friend, the SLS. Yeah, I was just scrolling through because I wanted to have a 10th vehicle in this list to make it nice and even. And I found this, and I just bid on it, 20,000 starting price, and I won it, so pretty nice vehicle. It's not the fastest, it is another S1 class vehicle. The only completely stock vehicle that I bought. And yeah, for 20,000 credits, Mercedes AMG, you really can't go wrong with it. It's a lovely, lovely car to drive. And you can't go wrong with some rear-wheel drive, 577 horsepower in a Mercedes AMG. I think it's ran into again by an Aston Martin because he's jealous. And while our next vehicle can probably be seen from the International Space Station, because this Mitsubishi Evo has the brightest green wing and wheels and hood and mirrors, and has 957 horsepower from a V8. Because American, even though it's a Japanese car, but whatever, ignore it. It is our first S2 class vehicle, and it cost me a mere 17,000 credits. So for 3,000 credits less than the Land Rover, you get a S2 class monstrosity that will attract every police officer in a 10-mile radius. Of course, it is definitely a track car, given by how fast it tops out on this runway. As you can see here, tops at 198 miles an hour. But boy, is it controllable at said 198 miles an hour. So I decided to jump it. And well, you can't really go wrong with that. It is an Evo, and it has its rallying heritage. Might as well decide to take it on rallying heritage, even though it's not really a rally car in this spec. But ignore that fact. Still a pretty nice car for 17,000 credits. Speaking of rally heritage, we have a 2004 Subaru Impreza Wrx Sti. Another vehicle that's not very powerful. 574 horsepower, less power than the Mercedes. However, this is a rallycross vehicle, from what I can tell, given the fact that it has a very short gear ratios and not a lot of power. And, well, it's a Subaru. Subarus are designed for rallying, essentially. And, well, it's just fun to slide around the hills a little bit. Have a good off-road, not really off-road, but trail-style racing. Pretty nice vehicle to drive. As expected, four-wheel drive, not too much power, all things considered. And yeah, just an all-around phenomenal vehicle, especially in its intended purpose, which is blasting down these desert roads as fast as possible until you lose the back end, because you're having too much fun and you're drifting around like a maniac. Well, next up, the Lotus Elise. Weighs less than 1,800 pounds, it has four-wheel drive, there's a car that's just kind of sitting there. That's not the road. Gallant, that's not the road. No, you can't just park there, that's a sidewalk. Anyway, however, this vehicle's party trick is an Ariel Atom V8 in it, 775 horsepower. It's ridiculous. It is a ridiculously fast vehicle. It's not as easiest to control either. It'll go very fast, very quickly, and then you'll die by hitting a car. Because you're losing control, and you just get wheel spin. wheel spin, and wheel spin, wheel spin. Once you get traction, you absolutely fly. And you don't stop flying, it just pulls. And it just goes, and goes, and goes, and dies, and goes. Right? That's 203 miles an hour in the city. And all of this for 18,000 credits. Hey! That's a half decent speed run for a manic sliding through. And it was a new personal best. Yeah. Pretty good showing from the Elise there. It's a ridiculous car. There's nothing that can really prepare you for this vehicle. It's just a mad thing. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's so slidey, it's so controllable once you... And then it just bolts. Its acceleration is ridiculous. I wish you could see the tuning to see just how fast it accelerates, but I'm not sure. And yeah, it's just a mad little car. And I absolutely love it. And all for just 18,000 credits. Well, based on the fact that this is a wide body S14 with lots of camber on the rear wheels, you can probably guess what this vehicle is. It's a drift car. However, it does have one party trick. And that is its engine. It has a maxed out quad rotor in it. Yes, this has the 787B engine in it. I used one of these in the snow course builds, and it was very, very good. Now, this is not exactly a snow course car, but it is rather good at its job, which is sliding around. However, I'm not a very good drifter. And I bought this car for a measly 14,000 credits. Yes, this is 6,000 credits less than that Land Rover. And it's a quad-rotor, rear-wheel drive Nissan Silvia drift car. With the widest of body kits on it, that makes it look like a muscle car, and probably had an accident at one point in time, and when the rear bumper fell off, they just decided not to fix it. Because there is no rear bumper. And in hindsight, when I was choosing location for this, I thought, oh, the city will be a great place to show off its drifting capacity. No. There's way too much traffic. Traffic is the enemy. But it is a glorious vehicle. And for 14,000 credits, it's a darn good one, too. Yeah. Once you get the hang of it, it's a little bit easier to slide around, but it is, it's not quite as nice as my Toyota, my AE86 that I have. That is a phenomenal drift car for me. But this vehicle, certainly good for the money. Now, this is the most powerful vehicle that I have, that I bought for, how much did it cost? The Falcon cost 14,000 credits. And for that, I got a rear-wheel drive, 1,000 horsepower, Ford Falcon. I'm pretty sure they tried to emulate the, Mad Max Interceptor from. And it has the longest first gear I've ever seen. It is most obviously a drag vehicle. Besides the launch, because the launch is terrible. But it just has the longest first gear I've ever seen. And I was pretty impressed with that speed trap. I've never gone 200 miles an hour on the dot like that. I've never had that happen. And I'm not quite sure what their idea was when designing the paint for this vehicle. I'm not sure they were trying to make an interceptor vehicle from Mad Max, a modern day version of it, or if they were just trying to make an undercover detective vehicle, but yeah, it's very much blacked out. It's a very blacked out vehicle. And it just, with the help of a maxed out 6.2 liter dual supercharged engine, this thing flies. It has almost as much power as that Venom that I passed. And, well, the landing was better in the Mitsubishi, I will be honest, but for 14,000, you get a maxed out Shelby GT500 engine and a Ford Falcon from 1992. And that is very nice. Very nice indeed. Now, the second best vehicle that I determined to be the best value for money for 20,000 credits. Well, it's another quad rotor. However, I recently did a challenge where I took a maxed out quad rotor and a stock MX-5, and that was very very uncontrollable. This is also a MX-5 with a maxed out quad rotor, but it is four-wheel drive, and completely and utterly maxed out to the limit, and is very, very fast. And I also murdered a fence with it. Ignore that, the people who live in Australia are always happy to see that, alright? Yeah, it's just... there is so little weight, and so much ferocious power being delivered. It's not the fastest at 200 miles an hour, that would probably be the, either the Elise or the Falcon Eyes that we saw earlier. But it is certainly very, very controllable. And considering this is the least amount of power I've used to get to 200 miles an hour, it gets up to 210 pretty darn nice at 211. Yeah, we get at least a 215. Very, very nice vehicle to drive. And as you can see by the fact I haven't crashed yet, it's also not too difficult to drive. I did get rather lucky there, and then I decided to give up and fly this way. And, well, I might have made a tree, and then it did some dances. Then it did a little dance. I don't think that's how physics works, but hey, I'm not the gods of Forza, okay? I'm not the gods of Forza. However, our kind of, I guess, victor, he's having a challenge though, is the Rip Rod. Weighs 2,200 pounds and has the Ariel Atom V8 with 775 horsepower. So, this vehicle cost a whopping $8 grand for this car, which I would say is the steal of the century, because look at it bounce. Sure, it might be the least practical vehicle on this list, and that is saying something, because there is a bright green Lancer Evo and a quad-rotor Mazda MX-5 that you would die if you drove. Speaking of dying as you drove, that was quite a lot of rolls. But this vehicle is just so fast off-road, and it's just ridiculous. I'm not even sure if I touched the road there. I think I just bounced over, and it's just the craziest thing on how much speed it can carry off-road. And yeah, the fences will cause it problems, but that's to be expected. It weighs less than 2,300 pounds. It weighs as much as that Ford Fiesta that I showed in the first bit. And just look at it bounce. It's going over 130 miles an hour, 140 miles an hour actually, through the wildlands, and it's doing endos and wheelies and all sorts of E's all along the way. But it is bloody good fun, and you just can't beat this. It is, for 8,000 credits, you get this. This, for 8,000 credits. And I think you can understand why. I think this is the best value for money in this game. Because this little Rip Rod is a true blast. I also rugby tackled a Fiesta just to show my dominance, because this car is exponentially better than the Fiesta I showed at the beginning. Yeah, it's just ridiculous how cheap I got this car for. And I absolutely love it. Kind of ironic that the best value for money for 20,000 credits is an off-roader, and the worst value for money when it comes to 20,000 credits is an off-roader. Start with a Land Rover, end with a Rip Rod. Yeah, certainly a vehicle to behold. But that is it for this episode of Forza Horizon 3. I'll be back with more.